In today's video, we'll be talking about 10 expensive LEGO Star Wars Stormtroopers that you may own. Let's talk about it. So yes, welcome back to another LEGO Star Wars video. In today's video, I want to go over 10 LEGO Star Wars Stormtrooper minifigures that are probably more expensive than you think. So without further ado, guys, basically this video is all based off of bricklink.com prices in the USA market. That's where most of my demographic is, so I like to keep it all consistent and just base it off of the USA market on Bricklink. These Stormtroopers range from the original trilogy, Rogue One, Solo, and yes, there's even one from the sequel trilogy, since technically those are Stormtroopers. So nonetheless, guys, let's get into number 10. So starting off with number 10 in no particular order, we actually have the Death Trooper Commander, or the Specialist, from the 2016 Krennic's Shuttle. So this guy right here is going for about $30 used and roughly $40 new, and it's definitely understandable. You know, only ever came out one set, expensive set back then, still a pretty pricey set right now, especially, you know, get it sealed in the box. So especially, you know, that new Death Trooper Commander, you know, everyone needs, you know, at least one of them, you know, maybe one or two of them. That's never really, you know, for sure seen in the movies, you know, how many Specialist Death Troopers are there compared to, say, regular ones. But you know, say you have you know, maybe 10 or 12 regulars, you want to get a little commander in there, kind of spice it up, get a pauldron on there, a little bit of different print. So, but nonetheless, I feel like paying $30 to $40 just one time for a Death Trooper commander for your collection is not that bad, and that's just kind of the price you have to pay after being 6 years on the market. So moving on to the next one, we actually have kind of a variant here. From everything I've kind of read up on him, I took a little bit of, you know, time to kind of see exactly where this guy was from, you know, how you could get him. So it looks like, from everything I could see, it's just kind of a variant print of the original AT-AT driver, you know, minifigure. So this one right here, if you guys have the one with kind of the trapezoid print, which I'll put a picture up on the screen, I'll put the Bricklink listing as well, so you guys can kind of read into it a little bit. But if you guys do have this version of them, all of a sudden, you know, pretty rare in the market, only a few sellers in the US, and going for roughly $35 or $40, either way, you know, used or new. So definitely a big jump from just the regular ones, since the regular ones are, of course, all under $10 pretty much. So you're basically getting about 3 or 4 times your value if you guys do have this trapezoid print AT-AT driver, which again, I'll throw a picture up on the screen. Definitely go check your OG AT-AT pilot, and you guys might have a minifigure worth a lot more than you may think. So next up, we actually have a Captain Phasma minifigure. And both the Captain Phasmas, we had one from Episode 7 and Episode 8. Both of them are going for a pretty penny right now, but the Episode 8 one from The Last Jedi is actually going for a little bit more. Roughly $30 used and around $40 to $45 new. And, you know, the one from Force Awakens is about $10 or less on both of those. So not too bad. You know, the Captain Phasma from The Last Jedi came out in the 2018 First Order ATST. Definitely kind of a lackluster set, probably a set that not a lot of people picked up back then. And especially back then, too, you know, between being a, you know, subjectively bad movie, you know, subjectively bad set, and also, you know, a lot of people probably got her from the Force Awakens sets, which, you know, the average collector, you know, no one really needs 2 different Captain Phasmas, although they are actually different. You know, again, the Last Jedi one has a pointed mouth, the Force Awakens one has, you know, a round, you know, printed mouth. So if you guys do end up having the Last Jedi version over the Force Awakens one, she is worth about $10 more. Let's move on to the next one. So next up, we have pretty much a obvious one that's going to be on the list right here. We have the Chrome Stormtrooper back in 2009 and 2010. So basically, you know, this guy was, he came in a magnet set. That's actually where I got mine from. I'm not too sure where those were given out at. I'm not too sure if those were for sale. I know I got one when the LEGO store, you know, closest to me opened up in 2010. Was the grand opening. I know that's where I got mine from, but I definitely don't think it was some grand opening exclusive thing. I think it was probably just maybe for sale, maybe a promo, but nonetheless, that's where I got mine from. It was also a polybag promo at Toys R Us from what I've read. So if you guys have them out of the package, you know, out of the polybag, out of the magnet set, he's going for roughly $100 to $150. All, you know, depending on condition. If you guys don't care if a little bit of the chrome is scraping off, you know, on that lower end of 100. If you guys want a pretty good use condition one, you guys will be paying roughly $150. But if he's actually in the poly bag, 100% sealed, you know, never taken out of the poly bag, and even in the magnet, you're looking for about $150 to $200 range. So surprisingly, not that much of a difference, you know, in price when you're comparing a chrome minifigure, especially, that's very easy to, you know, kind of scrape up, or, you know, the chrome get, you know, kind of rubbed off. So surprisingly, like, so next up, we actually have one of my all-time favorites right here. And luckily, over the summer, I was actually able to get like 8 of these guys. I actually had none of them growing up. This is the OG Stormtrooper from the 2005 Imperial Inspection with the printed legs. So this was pretty game-changing back then. I believe it was actually the second LEGO Star Wars minifigure ever to have leg printing back then, if I stand corrected. So basically, guys, you know, very cool set, very sought-after set. That set's, you know, very rare, very hard to get, and all of a sudden the market on these guys has gone absolutely insane, because back in the summertime I was paying roughly $15 each for them in, you know, very good use condition, and right now, you know, very slim on the market on Bricklink. Literally only like 4 sellers of them. You can definitely tell someone's going in there and, you know, buying them up. But we have $30 used and about $50 new. So definitely one of those Stormtroopers that's pretty hard to army build. You know, there's definitely a few people out there that have dozens and dozens of them. I'm pretty happy I got 8 of them right now. I would like to eventually get more, but but definitely just one of those things where it's like a perfect combo of like OG classic, but like a little bit of spice in there with the printed legs. So definitely a great minifigure, but nonetheless, you know, if you guys have a few of those, I believe the actual set came with 4 of them back in the day. So think about that. If you guys have that set from back then, I think that set retailed for $50, and now you guys have like $100 to $150 worth of minifigures there, just off the Stormtroopers, let alone the other minifigures too. I believe the Palpatine in that set is like $90 himself. So you know, that set's pretty crazy. So if you guys have that set, definitely cherish it. Maybe dust it off a little bit. Maybe put the minifigures in a little bag or a little case or whatever, and there's that one. So next up, we kind of have a newbie right here from the 2019 Darth Vader Castle, that being the Imperial Transport Pilot, or, you know, what some people are kind of considering, you know, the 501st Imperial Pilot, you know, the little, pretty much a hover tank pilot with blue markings, that's what it was, you know, based off of, I believe, one of the games or one of the books, but he's right now going for about $25 used and new. Like I said, still kind of a relatively new minifigure where it's not really got too much time to appreciate and value yet, but nonetheless, you know, for $25, you know, it's definitely a fair value. If you guys, you know, say bought them back in the day, it's probably a little bit more than what he was worth, you know, say 2 years ago. But yeah, definitely one of those is kind of obscure. You know, I've got my one from the set I built, but other than that, I don't really see any need to get any more of them. Really, all not that cool. It's kind of one of those minifigures where I feel like Lego was maybe expecting people to care about it more. You know, people, you know, maybe Lego was like, hey, look, you know, maybe they were even thinking like, oh, 501st, you know, Stormtrooper, you know what I mean? Like, make it look cool. But in my opinion, I think a lot of people's opinion too, is kind of just kind of whatever minifigure. You know, I have no interest in getting any more. Really, no point of it. Technically, not even a canon character, I believe. But nonetheless, guys, if you have that set, you know, it's definitely a pretty expensive minifigure in there, and it'll probably only continue to go up over the years. All right, so next up on the list, we actually have one where probably quite a few of you guys are going to comment down below, hey, look, he's not actually a Stormtrooper, blah, blah, blah. But we actually have the Jack 14 with the Stormtrooper helmet. So I know, again, I think timeline-wise, it was still in the Clone Wars when this minifigure existed. I have not watched the Yoda Chronicles literally since they came out. I actually did watch them back in the day, but I can't remember if, you know, it actually transferred into the original trilogy era where, you know, Jack 14, you know, then had to switch over to a Stormtrooper helmet. I'm not too sure, but nonetheless, he is a Stormtrooper helmet. I've not talked about him yet on the channel, so I figured I'd throw him in here. And basically, yeah, he came in the 2014 Jedi Scout Fighter. Actually, a pretty cool set looking back. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I wish I had that set. I think that's you know, pretty cool. He's worth about $30 used and roughly $50 new. I think Jack 14, and I think out of every single one of kind of the Lego obscure, you know, kind of things I've tried to do, you know, Freemaker Adventures, Yoda Chronicles. I guess, you know, Resistance was actually, you know, actual Lucasfilm, but out of all those kind of like just kind of obscure little shows and stuff, I definitely think Yoda Chronicles was the best. I think they made the best sets based off that series, and I think the characters were the best. And I think from what I remember, again, too, you know, for being a little, you know, childish little show or whatever, you know, Lego based, it was, you know, kind of a cool little plot, I guess, from what I remember. But again, I've not watched it in a while. But you guys do have that Jack 14 with the Stormtrooper helmet, you know, worth about $40 to $50, so it's not too bad. So we're actually unplanned, you know, I'm looking at my last 3 right here, and we actually have a nice little hit of the Solo wave. So if you guys were around back in 2018 and bought up the Solo sets, definitely stay tuned for these next 3. So first off, guys, third to last, we have the Mimban Trooper right here. Came on the 2018 TIE Fighter, and this minifigure is going absolutely crazy. Just one of those where, you know, people want an army of them. You know, looking back, I feel like a lot of people are kind of upset that they did not get more Solo sets. I feel like that was a very underrated movie at the time. I personally think Solo is the second best, you know, Disney movie. You know, Rogue One and then Solo. I have no problem with Solo at all. And yeah, the Mimban Trooper right here, $70 used and $80 new. I know firsthand, I know of 2 or 3 people in the Lego community actually making big armies of them. You know, they're kind of buying them up, you know, at like just real prices. You know, they're not trying to be mean about it, but, you know, they're just making armies of them. I know there's a few people out there that have, you know, 30, 40, 50 of these guys. You know, they probably weren't paying $80 a pop for them, but, you know, say bought them when they were 20, 30, 40, and now all, you know, over the years now they're actually up to about 70 or 80. So if you guys have that minifigure from that set, definitely cherish it a little bit. You know, put it in a little case. If you guys have multiple of them, I'm actually pretty jealous of you since I've got 0 of them. So 2018 was pretty much my biggest dark age year for collecting Lego, you know, in the timeline that I've actually been collecting. So sadly, all 3 of these minifigures I'm about to talk about, including this Mimban Trooper, I don't have any of. So actually, moving on to the first 2 right here, they're actually both from the same set, so I'll kind of spoil that right now. So the 2018 Imperial Conveyance Transport, which again is, you know, a pretty underrated set in my opinion. Actually, you know, back in the day, I got quite a few of them on clearance, and all I remember, you know, I parted them out, of course. You know, I run a Bricklink store, and I don't know what I sold those minifigures for back then, but I know for a fact it was not these prices. So just even that Imperial Gunner out of that set, you know, whether you want to class him as a Stormtrooper or not, I want to put him in here. So the Imperial Gunner from there with the little pauldron and everything, he's actually going for about $25 used and new. So I guess not too bad retrospectively when you're comparing him to like the Mimban Trooper, but I don't doubt for a second that pauldron's probably most of that value. But nonetheless, you know, that's pretty cool right there. Moving on to actually the first minifigure on this list, also from that set, we have the Range Trooper. So a little bit less than the Mimban Trooper, about $60 used, $70 new. But nonetheless, if you guys, you know, were army building those solo troopers back in the day, I'm jealous, since like I said, you guys have a heck of a collection. You know, if you guys bought, you know, 25 Range Troopers, 25 Mimban Troopers, you know, 30 of the Imperial Gunners, you know, all that type of stuff, your guys' collection right there, that army right there is worth probably $5 grand. So I'm personally very jealous. I don't know if I'll ever get any of these minifigures, especially in quantity, but nonetheless, guys, there's the entire list right here, and let's close off the video. Well, as always, you guys, that's all for this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I love making these videos, and again, I usually learn stuff as well. So if you guys learned something new in this video, definitely comment down below what it is. Do you guys have any of these minifigures? I'm actually curious. Is there a Stormtrooper I missed that I should have talked about in this video? Definitely let me know down below. But if you guys do like this type of content, I do upload one of these about every single week, you know, involving different LEGO Star Wars minifigures and actually a few other themes as well. So with all that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching, and please don't comment and subscribe. Stay tuned for videos later. Bye guys, and stay safe.